Here we are. This is the area where Larry Reid lives. It's as close to paradise as you can get. So it's sort of an external suburb of Atlanta, Georgia, where it comes with its own private lake. This is not Larry's home, which he's just about next door, but this gave us the better view of the lake. A couple of well-known people. We got Larry and Jenny.
That's a natural lawn. In the summertime, when that's not there, people sit on the lawn to watch the laser show that is shown off the mountain. Anybody ever seen the laser show?
Once for it, but we had a thunderstorm.
Yeah, it is a truly world-class laser show. It's about 45 minutes long. Here you see the carvings. That carving represents the characters of Jefferson Davis, Robert E. Lee, and Stonewall Jackson. In the middle, that carving is about 90 feet tall, making it 30 feet taller than the carvings on Mount Rushmore. Depicts Jefferson Davis, Robert E. Lee, and Stonewall Jackson, if I did not say that. The horse on the far left, man, you can stand up in the mountain, that horse on the far left. That carving is much bigger than it looks. Now you see that pond of water down there? Notice there's an arc, a little walkway behind it. You can walk down to that. That's the best vantage point to see that mountain, to see that rock. Here's the way it works. From here riding up there, you think, that thing looks big. When you get down there, it's like, that thing is really big. That's kind of the difference. Notice we have trees growing out of a rock. How does that work? Pine trees and cedar trees for the most part. But of course, this is Georgia. We have a couple of Georgia peach trees on top. They do produce peaches, albeit real small peaches because of the limited soil they're in. We're going to go on the tower. You want to hold on to something or somebody at this point. It may rock a little bit, but not much. Oh, we do see the skylines of Atlanta today. That's probably the first time this month I have seen the Atlanta skylines.
Wow.
I don't work every day. I only work a day or so a week. So we've got a lot of heavy cloud days. And foggy days, December, January, October, really a lot of thick days.
Who carved it? Was it privately owned then, or?
Yes and no. Simple question that does not have a simple answer. So I have tried to figure out the most compressed way to do this. 1920, the carving was started. It started by the guy who ultimately did Mount Rushmore.
Got to the board.
Mr. Borglum. However, there were some problems after he got Lee's head and shoulders carved out, and he went on to other things. There's a whole story behind that. Then the next guy came in 1923, 24. Of course, your work was never as good as mine, so he blasted away all the Borglum's work and started over. Got part of the work done again. 1927, had to stop. The reason he had to stop is at that time, this was private property. The family that owned it, primarily was one family. They owned this, and they had given the Memorial Association a 20-year lease to get that done. They did not make it. They weren't done. That is a true statement. However, there were a couple of other world events going on that also caused a problem. Little things like the Great Depression, World War II, Korean War, you know, just little things that happened. So everything from 1927 until 1963 just stood still, including the scaffolding, which had begun to rot, of course, by 1963. What's significant about 63? The state of Georgia purchased all this property and an additional 1,600 acres on top of that for a total of 3,200 acres here. In 1958, they made that purchase. They went back to the legislature and procured funding to finish the carving. So they did finish the carving. They got it finished in 1970. There was a little touch-up work to do after that, but the official dedication was in 1970. That was yet by a third different sculptor involved. Wow. Interesting. And there's, if you go to the building next door to us down at the bottom, Memorial Hall, there's a very interesting movie there. It's about 12 minutes long on how the carving was done. I find it very, very interesting that you have so many artists and artist-type people who had all kind of ideas about what to do and inputs and so forth from all over the world. But the actual work that was done, the actual carving it out and so forth that was done, the majority of that was done by a guy who lived in Conyers, Georgia.
Oh, wow.
Like I said, we're back about every 20 minutes.
Larry, give us a commentary, and that's the microphone. Give us a commentary. That's what we can see in the distance.
Okay, you're looking at Atlanta. First, the downtown area to the left, which is the southern part of the city, and as you pan toward your right, that is to say, going north, you'll see then Midtown, and then the cluster of buildings further up is called Buckhead. All is part of Atlanta, so it's quite spread out north to south. We're up here on Stone Mountain at about almost 900 feet from the base of the mountain, and which is the world's largest granite outcropping. And on one side, it has the largest stone carving in the world of Jefferson Davis, Stonewall Jackson, and Robert E. Lee. It's the largest carving of any kind on stone, and it's of course 3 tons. Stonewall Jackson's birthday is today, the 21st of January, 2015.
He got his name from Stone Mountain, too.
No. No, actually, he got it from the first Battle of Manassas, or Bull Run, where a General B, said at the critical moment in the battle, he said, "There stands Jackson like a stone wall." And he meant that to rally the troops, and in fact it did, and the Confederacy won that first Battle of Manassas. And that started Jackson on his career as a well-known strategist, almost a magician when it came to outmaneuvering the Yankee troops.
I got to replace one of my rovers. I don't think it's $300 a piece. Maybe pulled up a fine. And that's why I don't drive any big business. It's a low profile too, though. It's a big wheel. It's 18 inches. It's not low profile. It's a number. That funny number.
And what's the show on? It's like bar swell.
Height of the sidewall. So you got a 300 something.
So for the bars,
Mine's a 255, 55.
like bar rest,
Yeah,
or they
300 feet is pretty narrow. Width there.
Declaration of Arbroath, Arbroath, was issued by the Scottish leadership in Scotland in the year 1320. It came after nearly a quarter century of fighting between the English and the Scots. The Scots had pretty successfully expelled the English, and they issued this document hoping that the Pope would lean on the English and tell them to stay out of Scotland. And the document was the first in recorded history to assert that it was the duty of the sovereign to rule by the consent of the governed, and the duty of the governed to get rid of him if he didn't. Now, this is remarkable because it was issued at a time when the divine right of kings was widely accepted. But they're asserting their rights to liberty against the crown, which is quite remarkable. And in the concluding paragraph, in explaining to the world why they were fighting, why they had fought the English, the Declaration says, "It is not for honors or for glory or for wealth that we fight, but for freedom alone, which no good man gives up except with his life." This was 456 years before the Declaration of Independence. It was very influential in the thinking of America's founders, and a critical document in the long history of the rise of British liberty.
Fantastic. Thank you, Larry.